Welcome to my fight show. It's Tuesday night. Once again, a beautiful night to be here live talking combat sports. I'm Mika. Frankl. CageMinds.com is the website. Shout out to Talk ABQ for helping make this all happen. First episode of the Cage Minds Fight Hour from ESPN Radio 1017 The Team. That's ESPN Radio Albuquerque. That is up on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. Shout out to Jalen Fuller. It was an honor to have him on as my first guest. YouTube is also the place where you could go rewatch the watch along if you wanted to see it. It was Caged Minds live. Ray Borg, Robbie Ray from Robbie Ray Images joined me right here in the studio to talk UFC 324. Last week, we had James Romero on the show. He laid out his picks for UFC 324. He will be back tonight to follow up, to own up for his brilliant insight, for his failures, and to share a bit of what he thinks is going to happen at UFC 325. Before we get there, new MMA After Hours is up. We're up to like episode 335. Me and Michael Carlisle did a deep dive into UFC 324, what he saw being on the ground live in Las Vegas, the Zuffa boxing, the new production of the Paramount era, the earlier start times. And we then also got into a deep dive breaking down UFC 325 this weekend. Australia, y'all get to have a fight with the great one, Alexander Volkanovski. A lot of speculation. Could this be the last time? Could this be the last hurrah in his home country? We shared our thoughts on MMA After Hours. Tomorrow, Pro Wrestling After Hours will be up. It's Royal Rumble week, so you know we'll have a lot to talk about from the Rumble. Our predictions to win, the men and the women's side, and of course, how we felt about WWE Saturday Night Main Event. Keeping that pro wrestling feeling going. It was an amazing week last week. TNA Wrestling got to go Thursday and Friday live, and then two episodes worth of tapings. Moose, Mustafa Ali, Elijah, Mike Santana, all incredible. A joy to have been able to watch that promotion. 20 years I've been watching it. TNA, Impact Wrestling, every Thursday on AMC. You're into pro wrestling, give them a look. And don't forget, if you're into going to the pro wrestling shows, we got one monthly. Duke City Championship Wrestling, NWA New Mexico, The Thrill of Tradition, February 7th, El Rey Theater. HoldMyTicket.com to grab your seat to be there. We're going to be talking with Joe Singer. Yes, you guys more belovedly know him as Hobo Hank. We are going to talk to Hobo Hank, Joe Singer, here in a little bit. Should be our first guest up. I know he's more than excited. A lot of things going on in his career, working with the NWA, and he's going to be taking on Silas Masson, NWA heavyweight champion. No little feature that we're getting a man of that caliber down here to Albuquerque, New Mexico. More than excited to see that one. So we're 10 minutes away from Hobo Hank. Got to get some of the news and headlines around the combat sports world. Mentioned it on a couple places already, but feel like we should dive into it here. 3 senior PFL executives have stepped down within the last month. PFL chairman Don Davies has stepped down, PFL president Ray Sefo, and PFL CEO Andy Murray, all no longer with the company. They made a foundation to get the PFL to where it was. They incorporated the Bellator talent. The Bellator talent, I'd hate to say showed their superiority, but they kind of did. And now the seasons, the tournaments, those have all kind of taken a step back. And we are seeing the quote unquote traditional model now of a fight promotion being run through the PFL. It'll be interesting to see how that affects the fight making that the fans wanted to see. We know there are some really exciting opportunities in the PFL because they're the second biggest MMA promotion in the world right now. Can they hone that though? Can they funnel that in? We've seen the PFL London events, the PFL Paris events. They do some great numbers. We're about to crown some champions, and we're going to get to that in a little bit. Next week, actually, guys, no show for my fight show. Has some family business to be taken care of. So today, here in the later half, we will get to the first PFL of the year, and we will have a Knucklemania preview. That's after we get through a whole bunch of business. Power Slap. We're going to bring that up from time to time on this show too. We had some interesting news from Power Slap, and this one kind of makes some sense. Power Slap championship fights will no longer have a coin toss. The champion will get to slap first. You're already the champion. You're defending. It's someone else's job to knock you off the throne in a sport where you take turns. That does sound like it makes the right amount of sense. You've earned the title. You've earned that status. So you earned the right to slap first. First bit of Power Slap news that we've had on the show. On the local boxing side, a name familiar to a lot of you guys, Jose Luis Sanchez. We're going to see Wedo back on DAZN February 10th, Grand Rapids, Michigan, taking on Justin Loogie Pierce. So we know if Wedo's taking the test, this guy is top opposition, probably a heralded amateur. Going to be interesting to see what he has in store. On top of Hobo Hank and James Romero, tonight the plan is also to hear from the Thriller. Yes, Ty Miller, $100,000 richer, UFC debut, spectacular first round knockout, buzzer beater, 1 second left on the clock and get it done. Ty Miller's supposed to be here tonight. And then, of course, the way timing works out, just a couple days ago, not tonight, was not able to make it happen for tonight, but had the opportunity, thanks to BKFC, to talk with Jade, Masson, Wong, and Lorenzo Hunt. Save that for this show, for this platform. And earlier today, the news broke. Yoel Romero's flu symptoms that have been plaguing him since the Real American Freestyle event will keep him from competing at Knucklemania. And instead of Yoel Romero, Lorenzo Hunt at 205 pounds, we're going to get Lorenzo Hunt versus David Mundell, the redneck, the pound-for-pound number one in BKFC, the middleweight champion of BKFC. This is 1 against 2. This is a dream fight. This is, don't mean this in any disrespectful way to the heavyweight title, but bigger and more meaningful than the Knucklemania main event now. This is the dream fight. This is an incredible matchup. The skill, the angles, the power that these two are going to bring at each other. David Mundell, Lorenzo Hunt. This probably isn't the fight that Dave Feldman had been talking about on the Bare Knuckle show about making the biggest, most exciting fight or the most attention-grabbing fight in BKFC history. I would beg to differ. This is that fight. Dave Mundell, we saw what he did to Donald Sanchez. And now he's going to be taking on Lorenzo Hunt. This is what dreams are made of. This is a super fight. This is bona fidely figuring out who is pound for pound number one in BKFC. Well, it's disappointing that you won't get something that was going to be a spectacle as the two tacticians of Yoel Romero with that lull you to sleep and explode in, and how would Lorenzo make it dirty on him, to now how does this firefight work out? Two big punchers, two guys that have run roughshod over their divisions and competition even further. Maybe a bit of a disappointment for some, but I think this works out greatly for BKFC. We get a super fight now for Knucklemania. And it looks like we are joined, and he is almost ready. Couple seconds, and we're going to have Hobo Hank joining us. HoldMyTicket.com, Duke City Championship Wrestling. That's NWA New Mexico, the thrill of tradition. February 7th. This is the first time we're getting to welcome in some of the more familiar stars from the NWA brand. It's going to be huge for the El Rey Theater and our local company. Let's welcome in Hobo Hank, Joe Singer right now.
Mika, how are you doing?
Good. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited to be here. It's been a long time since we got to talk on the air.
Right? It was so much fun doing it the first time, and now we get to bring you back around to preview the upcoming card and a match that I'm sure you're truly excited for, to get to mix it up with a talent of that caliber.
Yes, it's humbling first and foremost just to be part of NWA in any capacity, and the fact that we get to my internet's being a little funky. Sorry. Yeah, to represent them as a territory is one thing, but to face off with their world champion right here in Albuquerque, that's pretty cool, man. Silas Mason is a huge talent for them, and I cannot wait to get across the ring from him.
Silas Mason. I mean, we know we have this working relationship here with Duke City Championship Wrestling, NWA New Mexico, and the big NWA, but it's not just Brian Idol. Now they're right away sending out that's a big gun. We've had Natalie Markova, Brian Idol. They've been amazing, but were you even surprised to hear that they were sending Silas out here so soon?
Yeah, and I think I have Billy Corgan personally, I think, to thank for that. He's been great ever since we signed on board with them. We're now rounding our first year as an official affiliate of theirs, and we are already renewed to be into our second year. They've been supportive since day one, and not only that, not to diminish that in any way, because that alone is going to be a great match, but the Country Gentleman will be here, so complete with Joe Kazana on the outside. And if you guys have not seen him in action as a manager and not seen the Country Gentleman in action as a tag team, you are in for a treat and then some.
The Country Gentlemen, and we're putting them against our best, Pretty City Express. What should the fans kind of expect out of that kind of style matchup?
I'm really excited to see that one. So, Pretty City Express, obviously not the fan favorites, right? And they've got Matthew Robles in their corner, known for breaking the rules, but those guys can get it done in the ring for sure. The Country Gentlemen are very similar in a way. They're both the big guys. They're well put together, a lot of experience as a tag team. They're brothers, so they're going to work well together. And they've got their dad outside. Joe Kazana has got decades of experience in professional wrestling, and he is an old school Southern country gentleman wrestler. And it just harkens back to the old days of the NWA tradition. I think that sums it up in one word. So to see those two teams face off with each other, it's going to be fascinating to see the kind of the mind games between the two managers, and then just the experience between all those guys in the ring. It should be an incredible showdown.
He gave me some kind of Colonel Buddy Lee Parker vibes looking at some of his stuff.
Yes, very, very much so. He's got the white suit, Southern gentleman. Just again tradition, and from when wrestlers were gentlemen, from when they carried themselves with a certain air. That's what you're gonna have that feel from them. As soon as they walk into the arena, it's gonna take you right back to the glory days of NWA, and it makes you proud to be part of it.
When did you first become a fan of the NWA? Do you remember who you were watching back then?
Oh my gosh, I've been a fan of just wrestling in general since I was 7 years old, which would have been 1987, and anything that was put in front of me, I was happy to watch it. So whether it was live events, or whether it was tapes, or anything that I was exposed to. Of course, growing up in that age, WWE was going to be, or WWF at the time was going to be, the primary show. But who hasn't been in the old school NWA, Dory Funk and Harley Race and Ric Flair over and over again, the Funks. It's crazy. When I got the opportunity not last October, October before last, to actually go to Tampa and be part of the NWA Power tapings, and it was crazy when I was in the ring and wrestling. I'm in the middle of the match, just getting whooped on, and my head was hit into the turnbuckle. But right before it happened, I saw those three letters NWA, and it just reminded me that I was in that ring and being part of an NWA event, and it kind of brought tears to my eyes a little bit. It was really something.
You've been there, you've done that, you've been all across this country, but does it still hit? Do you still feel those nerves and butterflies when it's a bigger occasion? Did something like that like touch you?
It really does. Yeah, a lot of times it doesn't really hit you until it's there. You just, people call and they ask you to be part of things, and you appreciate it and you go, and then the day of the show comes and it's like, wow, I can't believe, looking back all these years, this summer will be 30 years since I started wrestling. um, and when I started, I was just a kid. I had no ties to wrestling. None of my family are wrestlers. I didn't know anybody that was in the business. So um, really, I never should have gotten all the opportunities that I've received. I've just been very, very fortunate to be around the right people, and uh, and they've taken me to all these great places. And so um, later on in February, February 7th is our event here in Albuquerque, uh, where I will wrestle Silas Mason. And then on the 21st of February, myself, Fred Slow, Pretty City Express, we will all be headed out to Tampa to be part of the NWA Power tapings in Tampa, Florida. So hoping to be part of the NWA experience again. And then in March, I was just notified a couple days ago that I will be part of the NWA Texas taping, which is in Forney, Texas, just outside of Dallas. Making my debut for NWA Texas, which is affiliated with Dog Pound out of San Antonio. Mr. Rodney Mack and Jazz. I'm excited to go out there and meet all of them, and kind of expand our NWA family and meet up with them.
Does it feel like your style fits the style of NWA, where there is a little bit of the throwback mold of the wrestling? You bust out the bulldogs, the traditional DDTs, the Russian leg sweep, some of the moves that we don't see as often anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel right at home in the NWA. I think it's kind of a perfect place for Hobo Hank to play and perform, because I am old school. I when somebody asked me what were the moments that shaped me and really made me think back to what wrestling meant to me, the majority of the things that resonate with me were on Superstars, WWF Superstars, or Challenge, or on NWA. And so, um, yeah, to be able to wrestle that style and do it with people that still celebrate that style, it's great. I really like it.
When you come up with a character like Hobo Hank, do you expect it to stick? Do you expect it to have the longevity and to have put the roots really in Albuquerque wrestling the way it has?
Not a chance. Not even a little bit. So I mean, I didn't. I wish I could take credit for Hobo Hank. It wasn't my decision. It wasn't my invention. Um, it was given to me. I was asked to try it, and honestly, I didn't want to. It wasn't. I didn't want to go out in front of crowds of kids and try to pretend to be drunk, because that is the way it was presented to me. So the first night I did it, it was definitely it was a challenge, and I was kind of hoping that that would be it. And honestly, the crowd responded so well to it. It was kind of undeniable. And the more I did it, and the more, I guess, I think that what changed it for me is that I realized that Hobo Hank was kind of the paint on the barn, if you will. It was part of the package. Um, but the real character, the character traits that come from it, they're just me. You know, they're just me kind of dialed up a little bit. Hobo Hank's stoic. Hobo Hank is going to fight. You know, he's going to try. He's not going to get discouraged. And I think those are just things that I just tend to be in real life. And so I try not to play it up too hokey. I try not to, you know, go too far into that. Uh, and it just I love how much people love that character. And now looking back and being part of it, I appreciate it, and I'm honored to be Hobo Hank.
How many years now has it been that you feel like you've got the presentation, like you understand who the character is, and you have all the components and elements to kind of be the Hobo Hank that you've almost envisioned when you were thinking, how can I make this as optimal as possible?
You know, I think if I remember my history right, again, I started back in '96. I would say my first Hobo Hank match was probably '01, and I I I wrestled as Hobo Hank in a couple different companies over all over Texas and parts of New Mexico and whatnot. And it was one of those things where I did it for a while and I did something else and brought it up and back down and back and forth. And I think Hobo Hank really kind of in Amarillo he caught on. He caught on everywhere, and that's where I knew that there was something there. And when I finally got into DWO in Albuquerque in 2008, I would say by 2010, um, Hobo Hank was pretty fleshed out, and I was starting to really feel like that was something that it meant something to people, and I was becoming really proud to to be that character. So, and then man, when Matthew Robles came on the scene about 2012, I think that was kind of the icing on the cake, if you will. To me, there's no Hobo Hank without Matt Robles.
I was just going to ask you that. How integral is having that evil nemesis to keep giving your character a goal, and that villain they need to topple for everyone's benefit?
It's again, there's just you can't have one without the other. There's the yin and the yang. Um, it would be a totally different situation and a different level. So yeah, Matt coming into the picture and us crossing paths was destiny, literally at Destiny Wrestling. So um, when we first set off, Fred Slow and I, when we first started talking about Duke City Championship Wrestling, and we were brainstorming kind of what this brand was going to look like, and what the presentation would look like, and so on and so forth. I mean, there's a million things that go into it, right? Like people think you just show up, put up a ring, and you're a wrestling company, and that's so far from the truth. There's branding and logos and just business and paperwork and whatnot. So one of the first conversations we had about talent, who would I bring in first and foremost? Literally, the first phone calls I made were, of course, to Thunder and Matthew Robles and Adam Merrick. Those were the first three guys that followed, by the refs, the local refs, Kyle and Francisco, Jeff. Those were the very first people that I reached out to and include in, because um, I knew that Matthew Robles and Merrick and all these people were they were pivotal. We had to have them as part of this to be successful.
You brought up Thunder, and it's amazing. It's a marvel of this industry that you told me he was there or you were there. You guys started training around the same time, and to still be in connection and to still be doing this together that many years later. You don't see that story in pro wrestling that often.
No, it's super super rare, man. And Thunder. I hope he catches this. I'm sure somebody will send it his way, but he's one of the greatest guys I know in and out of the ring. One of the greatest people I've ever known. He's like a brother to me, and I started 30 years ago. He started, I think, 28 years ago. He was just right behind. Um, so we came up together. I was his first match. We did a whole series of matches right out of the gate. We traveled together. We've run other companies together. We've name it. We've done it. Um, it's just as simple as trust, man. I trust him completely. He doesn't have a negative slant to him. He's just a good person. Um, and I think to him and to me both, like, this business is not about ego. It's not about putting ourselves over. It's just we love it, right? And we want to be a part of it, and we're proud of it. Um, but we've come to understand pretty quickly that nobody has to fail for us to win. And he's just a really positive person to have on your team, man. Like, why wouldn't you want a guy like that in your life? So, um, but I definitely don't want to forget. I have the opportunity on your broadcast. We have a wrestling school. We finally opened up. We teamed up. So Thunder is our head trainer and main owner. It's called the Thungeon, and it is Duke City Championship Wrestling's official training facility. It is in Albuquerque. It's right off of Manal and San Mateo, and a very nice facility. We got our six-sided ring down there, and Thunder does training on Tuesday nights, Thursday nights, and Saturdays. So if you've ever wanted to become a professional wrestler, or you've started to take those steps but don't know where to go next and want to get more ring time, just reach out. Hit us up on Instagram or Facebook. You can go to the Duke City Championship site. Shoot us a message. We'll get you in touch with him, and you'll be in great hands from day one.
You guys, I thought you guys had my tongue in a figure four leg lock when I was trying to read the T-shirt. I'm like, Thungeon, Thunder Gun. I don't know. I want to say it and mess it up. Thungeon. Okay, all right. Trained to be a pro wrestler locally, and one of those guys you brought up. We're truly ridiculously lucky to have Matthew Robles. Like, I don't know how a bigger show hasn't swallowed him up yet. The genius that he is, one of the most hilarious managers I've seen in the last decade.
Oh, absolutely, and he's done it. He's one of those guys that's so fascinating. I've been really blessed to have a really cool life. I can tell you a lot of great stories about people I've worked with and things I've done. But man, that guy trumps me in spades. If you sit down with him and ask him what he's been able to do and where he's gone and the people he's met, his Rolodex is insane. He's fascinating. So no, you're absolutely right, man. The fact that he's not on a giant, level baffles me. I don't understand why. I'm blessed. It's just a blessing, honestly. I think it's just destiny that we still have him. That's it.
If you follow the show, you've seen that the women have been a huge part of Duke City Championship Wrestling since the inception. And I think with having Natalie Markova around, it really did shock a lot of people that Samaya has been our champion, and she has grown leaps and bounds in the last 6 months.
Yeah, Zamaya's fantastic, man. She's part of a group of wrestlers that's come out of Phoenix, Arizona. Gabriel Gallo, Don Vitale were their main trainers, and both guys that go way back. If you think back in DWO, they're both great guys. They're both great workers. They're both great trainers and coaches, and they've put out some great talent. Devin's part of that. Zamaya's part of that. And Pretty City Express. I mean, the list goes on. I think Zamaya is. It's funny, she was a great heel. You had no problem disliking her for sure, but at the heart of it, she is such a sweet person. And I think now, over the last couple of months, seeing that side of her, I think the fans have really glommed on her because they realize how genuine that character is, because it's not a character. Again, it's back to the Hobo Hank thing. It's when you're not playing a character, when you're not pretending to be something you're not, then people will follow because they believe it and it's true. So I love her to death. She's great to work with, and I'm proud of her. And I think, she's had some fantastic matches with some top level talent.
Heel versus heel, I think it is. Marvelous Jade Monroe versus Chris Watson. Talk about someone coming into their skin in Marvelous Monroe. And Chris Watson, ever since he's put on this extra size, I feel like he just walks around with more confidence, basically because he could walk through anyone.
Yeah, absolutely. So Chris Watson, I mean, the guy's been wrestling forever. He's always been a great wrestler, no doubt about that. But yes, he's been working on the physique. He's bulked up quite a bit. And he's been out. Right? He's been working for other companies and got a lot more reps under his belt, and the confidence is definitely there. And in his new skin, he's like a whole different person, right? People are gravitating to what he's doing. And then Jade Monroe, uh, you know, I'm going to say this 100 times. Like, there's so many guys that are almost my favorite, right? And I love everyone for different reasons. I think Jade Monroe to me is kind of like he reminds me a little bit of like a Mr. Perfect or I don't know, like a young Ted DiBiase in a way. Good looking. Could potentially be a face in a way, but man, he just has a face that you want to slap, and he does. He's so good at that. And Pollo Del Mar is like a legend in this business, and to Pollo's now chasing after Jaden and wants to be more than just friends, if you will. And it'll be interesting to see what Jaden does with that. I don't know. I love watching the chaos unfold between them.
You want to have an interesting car ride, be the driver for Pollo Del Mar. I've done that one a few times. You think exchanging stories with Robles gets in just interesting? No one can touch her. We're just going to leave that one at that. But a face that we all want to slap coming up on the 7th, Turbo Tony, that damn scoundrel. He's teaming up with Ronan. Manny Lemons has been tearing it up across many companies. Great to see what he's doing. And he's going to team up with Thunder. And I hope somebody does smack Tony.
Absolutely. Yeah. Tony needs a smack once in a while. He's again, a talent that can't be denied, right? Whether you like him or you don't, whether he's following the rules or he's not, he's somebody to watch. He's got one heck of a physique. He can wrestle. Everybody in that match can wrestle. There's no denying it. And I'm excited to see what that match looks like. Uh, Thunder's been doing this forever. He's always going to put on a fantastic match no matter what. And then Manny Lemons has been, where haven't you seen Manny Lemons lately? He was on TNA twice last week at Tingley Coliseum. As soon as he left, he was in Colorado. I think the next night he was in another state. So he's all over the country. It's just a matter of time before somebody swoops him up. So enjoy him while we got him, guys.
A stat card, a tremendous night. You've been all over the country. What is it about kind of the atmosphere, the Duke City, the New Mexico territory makes this audience, this kind of feeling special, what we have brewing here over the last 2 years with DCCW?
It's crazy. I have been all over the place. I've done plenty of indie shows all over, and um, the turnout, first and foremost, for our events is on average so much higher than almost anywhere else in the country right now. Yeah, there are definitely some small companies that do well, but if you really look across the country, how many hundreds of indie promotions, and the majority of them are lucky to break 100 people, and we consistently draw 4, 5, 600 people. And like, I looked today before I went on. I was on the interview earlier today. We had 46 seats left for the event on the 7th. So we're consistently selling out, month after month. And so that, to me, that's just a testament to how much Albuquerque loves wrestling. They love the tradition of it. They love the involvement of the live shows. And it's tricky to bring it here because we do have some laws and regulations that we have to follow. So it's kind of a thing where, like, you either, if you're going to try to create wrestling in Albuquerque, you have to go all in, because you have to draw enough people to cover your costs of all of these regulations, licenses, and ambulance, doctors, so on and so forth. So it's really, really hard. You can't just come in and run a show, and if you draw 100 people, you're going to go broke extremely fast. Um, and we knew that. We knew that we had to get to a level where we were drawing 400 ish consistently, and Albuquerque is not disappointed. We have some great sponsors. We've got a lot of community support. Um, And now with the NWA brand on us, it's just made it even better.
How many of the goals that you set out have we already matched for the product, for the company, for the presentation, for the storytelling that you guys have been able to achieve?
Oh man, it a lot of the again, because I'll just remind everybody when I had thought about bringing wrestling back, 2019, 2020, whenever it was, it crossed my mind, but um, I really wasn't sure if I wanted to go down that road and dedicate myself to it. Fred Slow was the one that reached out and he said, I want to run wrestling and I want to do it with you. How do we make this happen? And I was very blunt. I told him exactly what that was going to look like and the pitfalls and trials and tribulations we would face. And he is literally the perfect partner for this. And we along the way we've added the rest of our leadership team, right? So we got Fernando, we've got Aaron, we've got Darren. The five of us are what bring Duke City Championship Wrestling to life every month. Everybody brings different things to the table, which is why we are successful. But to answer your question, um, I, if I had checked out when my goals were met, I would have been done wrestling in like 2008. Uh, every year, it's like things keep happening for me and to me around me that I never quite envisioned, and it's cooler than my dream was. So at this point, I'm smart enough to just go along for the ride. Now I'm going to do this as long as I can, and as long as good things keep coming from it, I'm going to just keep trying.
What was it like winning that world title, becoming the Duke City heavyweight champion? That El Rey went nuts for you. And then we saw the Rio Rancho Event Center, a cage match. Every time you come out, the places go nuts. But what is it like winning the belt and having that elation?
It was crazy. It's one of those things that as a kid, 8 years old, wanting to be a pro wrestler, you picture that stuff, right? You pretend you're in your bedroom and you're playing with your toy belt and your toy wrestlers and whatever, and you picture what that might feel like and look like, and then to actually be standing, especially like in a cage, which is already kind of a surreal moment, and the lighting and the smoke and all this stuff. Um, it's you can't really describe it. It's like a movie. Everything kind of slows down a little bit, and uh, you just try to suck it all in and enjoy it. And then every single time I make my entrance now at the El Rey, when I step to the rope and I kind of squint to the lights are in my eyes, and I'm just kind of squinting because I'm trying to see the people high up in the mezzanine and how far back, and I'm just trying to appreciate those moments because I know they won't last forever, and I want to remember them for the rest of my life.
Does that stand out as the top moment? Are there too many top moments for you to pick out? Is there a handful of top moments?
Oh man, there are so many top moments. I could probably list you at my top 50, honestly. But yeah, that cage match was definitely top five for sure. I was in there with Thunder, one of my best friends and somebody that's been along this journey with me my entire life. And I remember just standing there at the beginning of the match. The referee's giving us kind of last minute instructions, and I'm looking at Thunder and I'm like, look where you are, man. Look where we are. Um, that was really cool, but again, it's so hard. Like people ask me all the time, what was the best match you ever had? Well, I don't know. It's you know, uh, last year I was at WrestleMania. I was sitting there, I'm watching WrestleMania live at the Allegiant Stadium, and Jacob came out. Jacob Fatu came out to wrestle LA Knight, and my girlfriend was sitting next to me, and she starts elbowing the people next to her, and she goes, "This guy wrestled him just a year and a couple months ago," and um, just that was such a special night to be part of his last few indie matches. I was like the third. 3 guys later, he's in the WWE where he deservedly should be. Um, I don't know, man. You know, I've wrestled Tommy Dreamer. I've wrestled Bubba Ray Dudley. I've been in the ring with Jeff Jarrett. There's so many things that I've done that meant something for different reasons. Uh, I can't tell you the top of, but every night we're just, Silas. I can't wait to wrestle. I've wrestled some former NWA World Champions, Rob Conway for instance, but I've never actually been in the ring with the current NWA World Champion. So Silas, that'll be my first.
Did the cage match, did that live up to the expectations? I heard that that was something 20 years in the making that you and Thunder had been talking about.
Um, yeah, I think for the most part it did. I think would I go back and do it again? Yeah, and would I do different things? Absolutely. I could have a part two of that match all day. Um, but you know, I I was really really happy with the events. The Rio Rancho Event Center has been a Matt that runs it is an amazing partner to us and friend of us, and he has afforded us the opportunity to wrestle in that amazing facility, and he's been supportive with all kinds of different things, to our shows. Um, so we had great light. I mean, what independent wrestling company has great lighting? An actual 12-foot plus steel cage that was erected by Valley Fence, another one of our partners. Everything that we did that night was pretty professional. It was pretty high level. So um, I was just proud from the beginning to the end. The card was great. The layout was great. Um, in the very very end, when I was sitting on the top of the cage, just covered in blood and holding the belt and exhausted, not just from the match, but from the days prior putting that show together. How could I not be proud of that? Like, not too many people get to do that, and I do, and I'm blessed. So thank you, Albuquerque, for helping make that a reality.
We saw Manny Lemons make the debut. Also on Friday night at TNA, we saw another guy that done so much with Duke City Championship Wrestling get in there, and to the shock of no one, the entire Tingley Coliseum is chanting 2 scoops. What does that mean, having seen one of our guys evolve and grow in that manner in this local market?
It's awesome, man. And I didn't when I left the arena. Tommy Two Scoops was standing there with some of his family. I got to say a few words to him. I didn't get to say exactly what I wanted to say, but Tommy was a fan of DWO. He used to go to the shows when he was a little bit younger, and that is what, in part, between that and just being a huge wrestling fan in general, part of what inspired him to be a pro wrestler. And he went out to Arizona to train and came back, ready to roll. And we were lucky enough to have him join our roster. And he's told me before stories of sitting in the DWO crowd watching me wrestle as a kid, and I was sitting there with Fred and my girlfriend Christina, and I was telling them, like, it's cool, man. Like, it makes me it chokes me up a little bit that I got to sit in the crowd and watch him wrestle. Um, I love that. I love just the growth that everybody's showing, and really that's all this was about. From my perspective, I know I can't speak for Fred. I don't know exactly what motivated him to want to start Duke City Championship Wrestling, but for me, I just wanted to keep active in the wrestling business for at least the last couple of years before I can't do it anymore. And then I wanted to create opportunities. I wanted to, just let people get to perform at a level that we could provide, and just have a good time with it. So it makes me really happy to see people branch out as a result of stuff that we've done.
And he's going to be taking on Saleh Taylor, our diabolical DCCW heavyweight champion, for sale. He's the leader. All of them are crooks and cheats, along with Matthew Robles. And hopefully you guys give them what's coming to them. February 7th, the Thrill of Tradition. NWA sending some of their top talents to dance with our favorites from the Duke City. HoldMyTicket.com is how you get your tickets. And also, you guys now heard where you can go to learn to be a pro wrestler and trace your own dream. Joe Singer, Hobo Hank, thank you so much for the time tonight.
It is a pleasure, Mike, and congratulations to you. And it's crazy to think back when I first met you and all the things you've done since in this industry. It's pretty amazing, man. And I'm happy to know you, and I appreciate everything you do to help us every month bring DCCW to life.
Oh, happy to be part of the magic. Happy to help. And thank you so much for the kind words.
Now you got it, brother. You guys have a good night.
You too. There went Hobo Hank. And as promised, we're going to jump from one interview to another. Back for week number 2. We got to see how the picks did last week. We're bringing in James Romero right now.
Hey, what's
James.
going on, Mika?
How you doing?
Doing good. Feeling much better this week. Last week I was pretty sick on the pod, but I still have to do it. So,
right, you were beanie, you were a hoodie, you were tissues. Today you look like you have your color back in your face.
Yeah. Just got out of practice. Got home late because traffic was bad. There was a wreck on I-40 in Coors. But
oh no!
I made it home in time. So all right. Good day work. Good day training. Feeling good.
Well, let's quickly look back at it. There were some fights that were canceled. But for the most part, a lot of this went as James laid out. Ty Miller, of course, Josh Hokett, Abeta Gutier, Umar Nurmagomedov, Gene Silva, Natalie Silva, Waldo Cortez Acosta, Sean O'Malley, Justin Gaethje. So the big question everybody wants to know is, did your actual bets go this well for you?
Yeah. Actually, it was a good weekend betting for sure. It was a good first UFC back. Bets went well. Profited pretty good. I was 4 or 5 in the main card, and I hit good. I ended up betting. I had both dogs. I said I was going to bet. I bet Krylov and Alex Perez as dogs. One of the bets I missed was Arnold Allen, but I would bet it again. That was a good fight, and the plus 200 odds were too spicy. But I loved Gaethje at that price. Hit that, and then I'll chalk on the 3 fights in between the main event and the first fight of the main card. So those all hit. It was a pretty good weekend. Hopefully, give good advice again this week.
Are you with me that I think the staph infection, I think Gaethje was a little diminished. I don't think I saw the same muscle definition in his
Gaethje he was definitely on antibiotics. He definitely had staph, and it affected his performance, and he's still good enough to beat Patty. Yeah.
Yes, I'll give it to you that one. I gave way too much credit to Patty. I mean, he landed.
Yeah.
It didn't seem to matter.
Patty's a good grappler, but he's still got holes in his striking game. I mean,
so you said 4 out of 5 on the main card. Did you actually take the Derek Lewis dog pick?
No. I said Waldo was going to beat him up, and I took Waldo by KO as well.
Oh, what was the main card fight then that you missed?
The Arnold Allen and Gene Silva. I bet Arnold Allen.
Oh, you did go Arnold Allen after all. All right. I thought he started out well. Just same thing, kind of too much firepower on the other side.
Firepower, and he started picking up on his reads a lot. Silva looked good. And that third round was pretty close, and then when he started emoting on him, surfing on him, it was over.
Have you ever seen something so disrespectful?
No, that dude's a nut. They said that was a battle of 2 autistic dudes. They were both saying it all week.
All right. That's a first from the UFC.
Best base for MMA being autistic. Got to have a little bit of autism.
It helps you focus in, all right?
And quick shout out to Ty, freaking getting it done. Performance of the night bonus. I know it's great for him and his family. Freaking proud of him. That was awesome.
Thank you, UFC. That was the right time to double the bonuses, at least from our perspective. We're happy to see our guy get a
That
huge
was
check.
awesome. That was great. I'm so happy for him. Proud of him. That was badass.
And hopefully he'll be on time. He's going to follow you up here in a little bit. We should have Ty on in a couple minutes.
Cool. I've been texting him all weekend, so it's cool.
We have a bunch of bets to go over, picks to go over, and are you even looking or familiarizing yourself with the early prelims? I'm an early prelim guy. I love them. But with 4 of these 5 fights being road to the UFC, if we're away from it, I fully agree with you because I don't think I'm risking shit.
I'll bet those small. I won't bet them as big as like the ones I'm sure on, but I've watched a lot of road to UFC. I'll stay up and watch them or wake up early and watch them sometimes. And I like some of the matchups, some of the dogs early. And yeah, it should be fun. Obviously, it's more fun. The confidence level will be more for bets when I get to the main card and prelims, but early prelims are still fun. They're fun to watch and fun to watch up and comers. So
now I'm sorry, Better Buy versus Aaron Tua. Do you have an inkling on that one either way?
Sure. This one is not even analytics based or anything. I'm betting on the guy with the face tats, a small dog, Aaron Tua. Oh, he has his loss. I think his only loss is to who was it? It was on a Contender Series, wasn't it? Check real quick. I like two out here, or it's a close one. I'll bet small on it, but just entertainment money. But watch them. Oh, shit, I'm bleeding.
Taking it. Well, of course you're a fighter. Did you smile too hard?
I don't know. I just have a scab on my elbow.
Oh, the horrors of grappling, people. That's the dangers of grappling. You just get these rug burns, all of a sudden bleeding. But yeah, no,
what the hell?
the Australian in Australia, with the face tats,
Yeah,
possibly
Australian face tats in Australia to open the Australia card. I like that one, and they're both good. They're both good. They're both tough. Good records.
We're also getting a rainbow slong. Yeah, I think I said that. I'm not sure. Lawrence Liu, and we have as Rainbow is a minus 270 to 260 favorite. So they're feeling pretty confident about him on the betting lines. What about you?
I'm gonna take a small shot on the dog here, Lawrence Liu. He has a good record, and his good wins are against good people, good competition. And the other guys, I mean, they both have early losses, so they've both improved a lot from in their career. But I'm gonna take a small dog shot on Liu here.
Sebastian Saleh versus Kichiro Nakamura. This is a pick'em fight.
It's a pick'em fight, yeah. I'm gonna take the small favorite, Saleze here, Sebastian Saleh. I was looking at just 7 degrees of separation, looking who they fought and better guys, and he's a small favorite, but it's about a pick'em. I'll take Saleze small here.
Dom Mar fan, which also sounds like it could be like a description of something, takes on Kim Sang-uk.
Kim Sang-uk and Dom Mar fan. What a name.
Fan is a slight favorite. They're liking him a little bit better here. What are you saying?
This one I'm probably gonna stay away from. If I had gun to my head pick, I'm gonna take the Kim Sang-wook as the dog shot for fun, because these dogs be barking on early prelims.
I might be tempted to go the dog on this next one with Za Yi versus Kana Ofley, both a little more experienced. Za minus 200 underdog, but these guys are both strikers willing to throw, so I think anything could happen.
This one I like Kana Ofley a lot. I watched that Ultimate Fighter season. I think he's good. He's tough, but this dude's actually pretty damn good, and he has a lot of fights, a lot of competition, against tough dudes too, because Japan has MMA. I thought I was going to talk myself into the dog here, but I think I like Yija as a favorite.
Oban Elliott, it felt like he had some real momentum there, a little bit of a push. His personality was showing up. He stumbled, and now Jordan Meklev is coming in as a small favorite. And I thought that was going to be a surprise that I liked Jonathan in this equation, but I think I like the odds makers too.
Yeah. So this one, I think it's a market overcorrection. Oban Elliott, he fought a tough dude. That dude he fought was tough. I forget his name. I bet on him against Elliott. I can't remember his damn name. But I like Elliott here as a dog. He's got something to prove, and he had all that hype. I think it's a market overcorrection here, so I think he wins this fight more than the odds say.
He had lost to COK Yoon OK. He had lost
to that's why I didn't remember his name. I couldn't pronounce it.
Exactly. I'm having troubles. You're making me do all this. Torres, Finley, an underdog to the experienced Jacob Malkoon, who will have the home advantage. We always talk about it with Finley. He's a tank and undersized for the division. Do you like the dog, or do you go with the experience here?
I like the experience favorite here. Malkoon, he shouldn't even have that many losses on his record too. One was a DQ, and I like Malkoon a lot here. I think it's a good fight for him.
As you say that, the fight most likely to end in a no contest, Cody Brundage versus Cam Roston. That one, because it's a Cody Brundage fight, means more than likely some odd shit's going to happen. This dude just kind of has that luck.
You give me a underdog money against Cody Brundage, I'll take it 10 times out of 10. I don't think Brundage is great. He had some really good luck and weird luck with no contests and DQs, and Roston's pretty tough. I was Contender Series fight, and then he came in his debut and got a KO as well. I think he's pretty tough. He's a funky striker. I like Roston here a lot as a dog.
Billy Alcana is going to be welcoming Junior Tafa to 205 pounds. The Tafa brothers are powerful, but they just lack so much volume that it's hard to pick one of them for me.
I don't think they've ever trained wrestling either. I think they just stand and bang. They got power and stuff, but I will never bet on Tafa. I don't like the odds over -2 something for Alcana, but he's looked decent. I think Alcana gets it done pretty handily here. If Tafa could always land something big. That could happen in any MMA fight, and especially with the Tafa's power. But Alcana should be good here. But sometimes those Australia cards, you got the home crowd, but I like Alicante here.
Quillen Solakid is the biggest favorite on the card, and I do believe he's an up-and-coming lightweight on the cusp of making noise this year. I think it's set up for him to have a showcase performance against Jamie Malarkey.
Showcase performance, sure. Malarkey's past his prime right now. I love Malarkey fights, and he's a dog, but he's past his prime, and Selkid looking good. He just had that nasty KO, that head kick over who was it? The little guy who looks like Gastelum.
Nasserat Haraquest, who's actually a really good striker too.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, no, I think this is a really good fight. Yeah, he's minus 1050. I want to. What's the inside the distance prop? Oh, there's no props on DraftKings right now. If you could take him inside the distance, I like that. I think I like him by KO, but it's probably even up to minus 200 or something. So it's a lot of chalk to lay on a finish, but I still think he gets it done. That's a pretty easy one.
Kind of in the same situation, but Taliesin Teixeira not with the same momentum as Salakid, but he's taking on a Tai Tuivasa who's in a pretty similar position to Jamie Malarkey. He's beloved. He's been excited, but he's almost Derek Lewis in the sense that you don't know, is he really into this camp? Is he into more than the first 3 minutes of the fight?
I don't think so. He's one of my favorites too. Tuivasa, I've done a couple shoeys for him when I've won money on his fights. If you go on my Instagram, I think there's a video of me doing a shoey out of a random person's shoes when we were at my parents' house. I was like, someone hand me a shoe now. Did a beer. But Teixeira should get this one done. And
oh, yeah. I used to hang out with his cousin Ty. He was a great person too, training out here. Just doesn't have it right now.
No, yeah, and he looked like 400 pounds a couple months ago.
So making weight, we always wonder with him, and yeah, that's gonna be one.
Yeah, Teixeira should get this one done handily. He's long. I think he's too long for him. I mean, the leg kicks by Tuivasa could come into play. I don't think Tuivasa is in it anymore, fighting for a paycheck right now.
Mauricio Rufy is a slight favorite over Rafael Fiziev in the feature fight. It's like minus 122, so it's basically nothing. I have no clue what I think about this fight because last time I doubted Fiziev, he ended up beating Baja Mondays in a way that I did not expect. So that gives me pause right here because of his experience, but the lack of firepower, you kind of believe Rufy could pull out something exciting.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite spots on the card, though. I think Fiziev's going to make him – he might get hit early, but he's going to take over. Fiziev's a dog. I like this one a lot. Fiziev at plus 102, lock of the week. I'll say it now.
Oh, a lock. So is it a stylistic thing?
I just don't think he's that good.
Oh, okay.
He's fun and and Fiziev's, I think, legit top level. Even that last Gaethje fight, I think he took it short notice, and that was a good fight. And that was Gaethje at his best too. So I like Fiziev a lot here. I think highly of Fiziev. I mean, I think it's a lock because I think highly of Fiziev, and I don't think that highly of Rufy, even though he's exciting and fun.
I could see because there is it almost seems like is it a lack of fundamentals, a lack of base in his striking that he can do the spectacular, but he doesn't have the right starters, it almost feels like.
Yeah, that was one of my biggest bets last year when he fought Benoit, the next fight, Benoit Saint Denis. When Benoit was like plus 200, I was like, give me that, please.
Well, this is going to be fun. Ty's here, so we're just going to add him in real quick anyway when we talk about the main event. Let's just bring him in too.
Yay! Oh, hey, buddy. Hey, bro, do you fight in the UFC?
Something like that.
Hell yeah.
Man, unless Venom gave him a shopping spree, I hope he fights in the UFC.
Dude, they give you a lot of clothes. I was kind of surprised.
Well, we were just talking about the pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Now you're here to join us too. Obviously, you fight there. You can't do the betting, but just as a fighter, who you liking between Hooker and Saint Denis in the co-main event?
I like Saint Denis. I think he's a stronger grappler, kind of more powerful, and yeah, I like him better in that fight.
Yeah, Ty knows ball. I got Saint Denis here. He's got those caveman body kicks he's going to throw with no remorse, and he's going to take down Hooker as easy as he wants and choke him out or hold him down for as long as he wants. Saint Denis legit.
I think he's going to punch him. I know that.
He's gonna like punch him and kick him and like do a takedown.
So we're all going Saint Denis on this one. Hooker, too inconsistent. I love his weapons, but he also has those Jekyll and Hyde performances. He's a pretty sizable underdog. Main event, a lot closer than it would be it was 4 rounds to 1 the first time around. New champion or and still?
And still, baby.
And still.
Yeah. Volk's too good. Obviously, Lopez has power and it could happen. He's kind of got puncher's power, and his cardio held up last time in a 5-rounder, but that was actually, I think, my biggest straight bet last year. I threw $500 on Volk at minus 160, and now you're telling me he's minus 148 after dismantling him 4-1 the last fight? I'm like, give me that again. I'll take Volk all day. He's got championship mindset. He's in the right mindset too. Like, Volk's gonna get it done here.
Yeah, he kind of pieced him up last time, and I feel like it's gonna probably go down the same. I'm kind of surprised this is happening. I thought Lerone Murphy was gonna fight.
So Lerone Murphy or Movsar Evloev deserve it way more. I don't know why Lopez. I like Lopez too. I think he's fun and he's cool. He's funny. I love his dream it, believe it, achieve it tattoo.
Yeah.
Lopez, I think he's funny and cool. And I love betting on. He just didn't deserve this title shot over the other guys, over Movsar and Lerone Murphy.
No, I didn't think so either.
Lopez gets the fight because he's exciting. Pimblett fought Gaethje because it was exciting, because Saryuki might have taken one of them down and choked them out right away, and that wouldn't have been as exciting for Paramount. I think we get Lopez versus Volk because it has a propensity to be more exciting than Evilov wrestling or Murphy. It could turn into just a tactical battle.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, it's fighting. I mean, come on. These guys deserve a damn title shot. And Murphy had a nasty KO win in his last win. It's not like he's not exciting.
Yeah, I see both sides do it.
I get it as a promoter and marketer, but I'm like, those guys definitely deserve a title shot. Either one of them. They both have cases way over Lopez. He lost, got dismantled by Volk, and got a knockout over Gene Silva. Where Silva was starting to take over. I bet Lopez that fight, I was getting a little nervous, and he landed that elbow. I was like, ooh.
Created a moment. I don't know if he's had enough time to close that gap, though. Do you guys think he can close the gap on Volkanovski? That skill difference, it was one-sided the first time around.
Yeah, I feel like he could always, he has a lot of power for sure, and he's pretty game, and he's pretty like pressure heavy. There's always that chance that he could clip him, knock him out. That could happen for sure. He's a hard hitter, but I just feel like technically and like on paper, probably Volkanovski's the better fight for this. I would put, if I was betting, I'd put my money on him. Yeah. But I can't.
Well,
right, he's not.
I'll be putting my money on him for you.
We got James Romero's bets in. He did Stiller last week. We will check in again with you soon. Thank you for the time tonight, sir.
Catch you later.
Bye.
And now we get Ty Miller joining us. Dude, you're in the UFC. That's fucking cool.
Yeah. It was a super cool experience, man. It was even cooler than the Contender Series one. And yeah, dude, they treat you like amazing over there, man. Like the whole staff was just really nice and wonderful and super helpful with all the nutrition and the supplements and everything. And yeah, they got their stuff dialed in.
How did it feel? What was the week like for you getting there and going through this kind of a fight week for the first time?
Yeah, it was different because I just saw like some of the biggest names in the sport, and it was cool because I was just right alongside them doing all the same things they were doing, and I felt like I belonged with them.
Was there a moment where it hit you? Has it hit you that you're accomplished one of the goals? Like you're here. This is one of the bigger ones. The 3 little letters on that sweater aren't from someone else that gave it to you for cornering. That's yours. Your name is on the back of some of this gear.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's really like fully set in, I don't know. It's just been like pretty surreal. I mean, especially, everything outside of fighting, was pretty surreal, but just the fight itself and afterwards and kind of getting the performance bonus and everything alone, that was pretty crazy, man. I was I was expecting a finish, but, there's some other big names on there, and I wasn't sure if I was going to get the performance bonus, but we were able to get it done.
There's a couple different reasons why fights fell off the card. Did your start time, was there much adjustment for you on Saturday being the first fight and having those couple fall off in the postponement with the start of the event?
Yeah, because I believe the event was supposed to start at 2, and then they like throughout the week, or no, like that same day they kind of just kept pushing it back like more and more and more. They said 2 at first and 2:30, then they said 3:08, and then they said 3. But it didn't really throw me off too much, you know. I mean, I was the first fight regardless, so I was ready to go whenever.
What was the walkout like? What's that moment like? It's T-Mobile Arena. It's this massive place, and you get to make that walk.
Yeah, it was it's different for sure. You know, I was the first fight, so it wasn't packed, of course, but there was still a good amount of people there. And just like, you know, the way everything is set up alone and, you know, the production and everything, it's different. But it was really cool too, though, you know. Yeah, I really didn't get, you know, any jitters though. You know, I stayed pretty calm. I was pretty relaxed. I was having fun in the back, and yeah, I was super excited to go out there and perform, man.
Adam Fugit, some of the things last week when James was here that he laid out, Adam did. He's like, I was pretending to be Adam. I was launching his big body kicks. I was doing that the whole camp. So it sounded like you had it pretty honed in on what to expect from Adam.
Yeah, for sure. And James did a great job. You know, he was doing good with, you know, all the body kicks, the head kicks. You know, because Adam kind of kicks off his back leg up and down the body, and he goes for that snatch single too. So uh, James did it like to the T. He did it perfect, and you know, I was able to get a lot of good rounds, and you know, kind of game plan pretty good for this guy. And yeah, I was well prepared going out there. But he did land some good body kicks, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, landing well, I mean, your right hand was on point immediately. It looked like you were moving the chin over quite a few times. Did you expect to have that immediate success with that shot?
Yeah, I knew my straight was gonna be money for this fight, you know, going righty lefty. So that was one of my main tools. Of course, my jab too, you know. I wanted to throw more body kicks, throw some head kicks in there. But I just always fall back on the boxing, but I got to be better with that stuff, man. I got to mix in some more things and use some more of my tools. You know, I always just kind of like fall back on my boxing and then like my knees and elbows.
Elbows. Speaking of elbows, any stitches? It looked like he got you with one spinning elbow that unfortunately started to pour blood everywhere.
Yeah, he got me with a good one. I don't know if you can see it too
Oh, your
well.
hair's too thick, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty thick. But I got about 5 staples in my head. But
Oh,
yeah, it's honestly actually not hurting very bad at all, though. I thought it was gonna be really sore, but it actually feels pretty good.
what do you do after the fight? Because you're bleeding, you're victorious. What happens after leaving the octagon?
Uh, Nothing too crazy at all. You know, I just met up with the family and we went to Crack Shack and I had a nice fried chicken sandwich and I had some ice cream and that was about it. We kind of just like reminisced about the night and, you know, uh, just talked about the fight. We watched the fight a couple times, but nothing too crazy, man.
Where are you when you find out that you get a performance bonus, that you get one of these massive new bonuses? Like, where are you when that happens?
I was at the hotel and my striking coach, Matt, calls me and he's like, hey, I need you to go to the press conference and like go to you know, right when Dana White sits down and starts talking about the fights. And we go there and then he goes, all right, fight of the night, Gaethje, Pimlet, and the performance of the night, Miller and Hokett. And we just jumped up and we're all cheering. And yeah, it was crazy because again, like I really thought I was going to finish it, but you know, I thought there was going to be some other big finishes on the card too. And I kind of figured they would favor them over me. But, you know, yeah, luckily we were able to get it. And I was watching the fights too. I was like, man, I might be able to pull this off still.
Well, either way, you were going to get that finish bonus if you didn't get that bonus. So it's nice to have those in line. Was there any thought process that now there's that extra incentive, or you're like, no, man, this is just who I am. I go out there to fight like this.
Oh yeah, I mean, for sure, it kind of does change things a little bit because, yeah, because it was that day. I looked on my phone, I went on Instagram, and I saw they had made some changes to the performance bonuses, and they added a little incentive to getting finishes just in general, and which is huge, man. I mean, like especially debut fighters like me, you could double your purse like that, which is a lot, you know. And so, yeah, I don't know if it made me more aggressive or made me chase the finish more because uh, honestly, I kind of always try to go for the finish and always try to kind of take someone's head off. So I think I was just going to do that regardless, man.
Did you hear the 10-second clacker? Because it seemed like you started really unleashing at that point, or was there just an opening?
Yeah, no, I did hear the clapper, and at that point, by the time I heard the clapper, I knew he was really hurt. So I just started pouring it on as soon as I heard it. I was trying my best to get him out of there before then, and we're able to.
1 second left on the clock. Like, do you even realize that? So many of these things, I'm like, dude, you have such a cool story just off of the debut fight.
Yeah, there was like 3 buzzer beaters that night. It was pretty cool. But yeah, it was super cool, man. Yeah, just everything went almost perfect. It was awesome.
What does it mean? And are you even able to encapsulate or put it into words that in one night you reached so many goals and changed your family's life?
Yeah, I keep waking up every day and I'm like, holy shit, I just got 100 grand bonus. it's it's weird, man. Like I definitely did not expect that at all. The most I thought I was gonna make was like, maybe like 50 G's, but god dang, dude, it's surreal.
Dude, all the hard work paying off and coming around, and to know what you and your beautiful partner were going through previously and now having your first home and stuff. Like, does it feel like you're seeing the fruits of the labor, that this is like all paying off? Can you put those into emotions where you're at?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely some tough times, man. And there's definitely times too where I was like, man, am I gonna be able to do this? And yeah, it's cool looking back now, I was able to endure all the struggles and hardships, and yeah, it's paying off. And I'm, looking forward to many more moments like this.
You said there was people, but there wasn't too many people in T-Mobile. Could you hear your family screaming after you won?
Yeah, on the way out for sure. Yeah, they weren't hard to find. They came like right up to the tunnel. And yeah, they're easy to find.
A whole bunch of moments. We literally say this couldn't get off to a better start for Ty Miller. In a whole, what does it feel like right now at the gym? Because there's you, there's James, there's Sergio, there's Hondo. It feels like after a couple years of some quietness, except from the local scene for fit, that you guys are ready to explode once again on the world scene.
Yeah, man. I even consider those guys to be better than me. I mean, seriously, dude, sometimes Hondo's just a 135 or I'm a 170 or sometimes he could beat my ass, dude. Same with Little Surge. Like, these guys are really freaking good, man. And James, too, he's just so goddamn strong. He's such a good grappler, and he's got really good submissions. And I just think, we're full of talent and the world does not know it yet. But, they'll come on the scene soon. And I'm hoping this win lights a fire under their ass, dude, and makes them work even harder.
Could you feel that emotion? Because I was just seeing the messages that they were sending you, stuff they were saying on Instagram and Facebook, and the investment that everyone had in this moment for you.
Yeah, I totally can, yeah, it's overwhelming too, dude. It's yeah, I'm overwhelmed with joy, and I'm happy to have the support from them.
Your dad was a catalyst for a lot of this, bringing you into loving MMA, holding mitts for you when you were young. What was it like talking to him after the fight? How proud was he and how excited was he?
I didn't see him until like after the main event and everything, and then we met at the hotel later. We just kind of looked at each other and we just had big old smiles. We hugged each other. It was yeah, it was super cool. It was just nice seeing all my family again after the fights and everything.
So we got 5 staples in the head. Does that mean you're taking a week off?
Yeah, yep, probably, man. Yeah. Actually, I need to see when I need to get these pulled out, honestly.
What do you want the trajectory for 2026 to look like? You get the first one out of the way on the first card of the year. What would your hopes be for the rest of the year?
Yeah, I would like to fight it at least like 4 more times, you know? Yeah, and just work my way through the ranks and get some more bonuses and eat some more fried chicken.
How good was that fried chicken?
It was really good. I got the Firebird from Crack Shack. God damn. It was really good.
Man, next time you're out there, you also have to check out Smoke and Fire. They have I believe it's like their fried chicken sliders with like blueberry jam on top of it.
What's it called?
I think it's like Smoke and Fire. I'll find it for you. I'll send you the reel on
Okay.
on
Yeah.
Instagram. But yeah, that'll be the next post-fight meal. So we now found the way to tie his heart. He loves fried chicken.
Yeah, I do, man. Fried chicken and pizza.
What do you think you're going to be able to do with that $100,000? Have you started making like a list of how you invest this, how you set yourself up, what you do now that you've been able to accomplish this?
Yeah, you know, honestly, with getting this much money, you know, I'm kind of thinking about taxes and how I'm going to handle everything with that. And, you know, I've been talking with Tim and, you know, he knows the guy, so he's going to help me manage, you know, my taxes and everything like that. And, but like, as far as like things I want to get, I really don't know. I feel like I kind of already have everything I need and want. So, you know, probably just sit on it, man.
See, that's the wise fighter. Investment, use it, save it up. It's not going to be here forever. This is, as Dana White says, an opportunity. And the first time out, Ty Miller made more than the most of that opportunity.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I'm trying to be smart with my money, man. Invest in some things, and you know, yeah, I don't want to blow it and you know, be broke by the end of this. You know what I mean?
And we'll leave on this one. How'd you grade your performance? How happy were you with the actual 4 minutes and 59 seconds that you displayed?
I'll give it. I was pretty happy with it, man. But there's I'm gonna be hard on myself. I'm gonna give myself a B+. You know, there's a bunch of body kicks I ate, some teeps, and that spinning elbow, man. So, you know, those are things I gotta watch out for in the future.
It's always a work in process, right?
Yeah, I'm kind of lucky. You know, I was anticipating something to come back when I threw that straight and he spun, because if I just left my head, you know, straight up and he caught me on the jaw, he could have put me out. You know what I mean? So I just got to be more aware about some things and, you know, be quicker with my counters and my reactions and things like that. But I'm gonna give myself B+.
It was a B+ for a big, beautiful performance. Ty Miller, you have a great night.
All right. Thank you, man. Take care.
Ty Miller, 1-0 in the UFC. So happy to see the fruits of the labor that he has put in coming to fruition. If he can do it, guys, the hard work, you guys can do it too. Just keep on grinding. Can't believe we are already so many guests through. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Like, share, subscribe. Those help immensely on top of all of these views. Appreciating all the support. Thank you to Hobo Hank, to James Romero, and Ty Miller. We're going to keep the show rolling, but I just had to appreciate all of them real quick. This weekend, there is a bunch of fights going on. Not just the UFC on Paramount with UFC 325, but don't forget on Friday night, Fury FC 114, the Arlington area UFC Fight Pass. 6. Yes, 6 people that we got to talk to from Borg MMA and Fitness. The Ray Borg leg crew going to be out there in action. Andreas Quintana, Javier Cepeda, Ray Viza, Hugo Gonzalez, Corey Winham, Ian Varela. Best of luck to all of them this week. And Dirty Boxing. Yes, Dirty Boxing with their 5th event. Dirty Boxing going to be in Houston and going to be crowning their first women's champion. You have Jessica Rose Clark in the main event. She has been a staple of the promotion, taking on Betancourt. Going to be a war for the 135-pound title. Couple names familiar to UFC MMA fans. Rakeem Cleveland versus Zach Puanga. Big time knockout potential in that fight. B Win, the one championship vet who trained here in Albuquerque, New Mexico, huge staple in Houston. She makes her debut. And Mr. Cannon, who had the biggest upset in DBX history, knocking out Hector Lombard. So you get DBX5 free across YouTube on Friday night. DBX and also Fury FC this week. A couple of huge events. We had some more news going around. Karate Combat will be back with their first event of the year, Friday, February 13th in Miami. Uriah Hall, Jaden Enog will look to put their rivalry into the pit finally. We also have women's strawweight title on the line and the promotional debut of Diego Brandao. If you're a kickboxing fan, and I know some of you are, there's one championship. There's also Glory Kickboxing. And Glory has announced 3 Grand Prix tournaments this year. Glory 107, April 25th, light heavyweight, and welterweight tournaments. Kickboxing, a crazy night of action. UFC 325. That's going to be one of the huge events going on Saturday. You have the Royal Rumble for us professional wrestling fans. Again, shout out to Hobo Hank. Thriller Tradition. Tickets at holdmyticket.com for you guys to be at the El Rey Theater on February 7th and support the locals. On the local side on Saturday night, OK Casino is going to be hosting the Cold War. Holmes Boxing in association with Sanchez Promotions, Shariah Arredondo, Liana Martinez in the main event. MMA fighter transitioning to boxing, taking on an experienced boxer. Guido Villarreal, Eduardo Pino, 2 of the more highly touted prospects for you to get excited about on that local card to keep an eye on. Saturday night on Vice TV, BKB 50 Evolution, the James L. Knight Center in Miami, and we have 4 titles on the line. The most devastating puncher at 135 pounds in bare knuckle boxing, Alberto Blas, number 1 contender, takes on the number 2 ranked Brandon Burr. The winner walks out with the inaugural super featherweight title. Jamie Driver, defending her women's welterweight title against Bianca Damani. And you'll remember last week when we talked to Javon Wright, because he couldn't pick his fight, he said that women's bout, that's the one that could steal the show. And Javon, we talked to him last week, he's going to be taking on massive body puncher Nestle Torres. That one is Dan Gittins. Sorry, looking at the wrong thing. Dan Gittins, Javon Wright, welterweight title fight. It's Nestle Torres and Celia Ulo going for the women's super flyweight title. 4 fights, so much fun. Gonna be a bash and a banger for BKB. Next week, no show. Got some family business to attend to. So while I won't be here next week, let's look ahead to next week, because the PFL is in Dubai and Knucklemania is happening. And when I think about Knucklemania, Earlier this week, I had the opportunity to talk with Jade, Masson, Wong, and she's going to be in action. Knucklemania rematch from her debut in the sport. Crystal Pittman and her run it back for the second time. We're going to hit that interview right now for you guys. My pleasure to get to talk with Jade, Masson, Wong ahead of BKFC Knucklemania VI. And to start off there, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, huge 20,000 seat arena, quite a difference from Billings, Montana in your debut.
Yes, the big difference.
What has it meant for you to, from 2021, getting involved with this sport to now, see the growth of it, see the stage that it's on?
I think it's awesome. And if I looked all the way I did from the beginning, I think I can be proud of. And for the fight coming with Crystal Pittman, it's going to be awesome because both we started at the same time, our first fight against each other. So yes, we're going to see the improvement of each other, and I think it's going to be really good.
All coming together. It was both of your debuts, and here we get the rematch so many years later. Does it feel like this is a continuation? Does it feel like there's any unfinished business, or does this feel like a fresh new chapter to the rivalry?
It's a good question. I think it's a continuation, and honestly, I didn't think that we will fight again, both. But as you know, there's not many girls too, and if they put us on the Knucklemania, it's because both, yes, we are there since a long time, and we give good show. We give good show, so I think we deserve to be there both.
It's a definite great point that you just made. A fitting opportunity for both of you who have been with the company for so many years, put in that blood and sweat equity to get this kind of opportunity. The fact that it's Knucklemania, does that just kind of get you excited in its own right?
Yes, I think it's hype it more because it's the biggest card of the year. There's other big names on the card. So yes, it gives more motivation and put more effort. Of course, I always put a lot of effort, never cut the corner, nothing, but it's more exciting.
Bringing up the word motivation in this fight with the motivation, is there any bad blood as a motivation, or is the motivation just victory?
It's victory, and I say there's no bad blood with Crystal because that's funny because since our first fight we became like friends since this time. So we know each other good. Every time we see each other, we have a good relation. But now we're gonna have to fight against each other. The friendship will still be there, but when it's time to business and we have a job to do, to me, I don't mind. I will do what I have to do, but there's no bad blood in that.
Well, the two of you being cordial, was there any kind of conversation when the matchup was presented to both of you that, hey, reach out, kind of like, hey, there's no hard feelings, we're doing this again, but it's as professionals? Has that conversation already happened?
Yeah, we've talked and we said no matter what, we're still gonna be friends. And that's funny because she's supposed to come this weekend to see me. We are supposed to do like a photo shoot together to promote our fight. So we're gonna see her this weekend. She's gonna sleep at my house and everything. And in 2 weeks we're gonna see each other, but to punch her in the face. So yeah, we can do the split of both. Yeah.
Have you ever done that before? Have you ever hung out with your opponent within weeks of fighting them purposely?
No, never. Never. It's gonna be the first time, but I did after the fight with Taylor Starling. But before, no, never.
Do you not train those days then? You two are kind of living together. Do you not want to give her any glimpses into your plans? Do you have to put away the notebook with your ideas for the fight?
I'm not gonna show her nothing, but like she's gonna be there only. She's not gonna see nothing. Like, we're gonna do that on Sunday, so it's the rest day. No training. She's not gonna see what I'm doing. I'm not gonna see what she's doing. We keep it really only for that.
Definitely a unique instance. You guys are gonna bunk together before fighting, and this isn't like The Ultimate Fighter or reality show. Definitely a new aspect to this fight. Have you went back and, with it being so many years ago, even looked at the first fight? It was both of your debuts in the sport.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, I've watched. I rewatch our first fight. I've watched her others fight. I think it's been 5 years ago. So of course, like there's a lot of improvement on my side, on her side. Um, yes, I've been. I saw her. She's a lot faster. She uses a lot of feints now. Her footwork is a lot better. So it's gonna be interesting. I work around that, and I think you're gonna see not a similar fight, but a similar energy. Like it's still gonna be like explosive and like going forward on each side, but with a lot more techniques.
I think one thing that has been consistent in your game that was notable from that first fight has been your right hand. The ferocity and the entry and the way that you look to land that entry right hook. Was that something that's kind of been a staple of your game even prior to bare knuckle?
Uh, I have this in me because I didn't really I practice now on it and I build around that, but like it's something that comes naturally. Like even in my amateur fight in MMA, it was something that I won some fight by TKO like that, and I didn't even practice like in sparring. So, but I have more option now around that, and I see that it pass a lot. So of course I'm gonna continue to um, to practice it and put build around that. Yes.
For this fight, what has the preparation been like? Because 16 months away from bare knuckle, a couple
Mhm.
boxing matches in that
Yeah.
time. How has your game changed, and what does the preparation look like specifically for now returning to the sport?
Um, So yeah, I always train. I never stop. I think last year, even like you said, it's gonna be 16 months since I fought in bare knuckle. But I think last year I did like 4 training camps. So I still train all the time. Yes, I did boxing fight. There's few difference, but coming back to the bare knuckle, it's a lot. It's more footwork. Say less block because everything pass, no gloves. And I've worked a lot on my distance. So this is going to be a big change. Choose my shot better. And yeah, there are a few things like that.
Last time we saw you, split decision for the title, going all 5 rounds with Christine. Was there a disappointment, or was there almost like a confidence builder from that moment to have been so close to the person that's pound for pound top woman in the sport?
Yeah. I wish I could do this fight again. There will be it's not going to be the same. See, I'm proud. I'm still proud to have fought for the belt, but I want the rematch. I think the fight in split decision. I am the only one who did the split decision with Kristen Feria, but I know that we didn't show the best of us in this fight, and I think I won this fight. I think I won this fight, the 3 last rounds. I put more pressure and everything. But yes, I think the biggest thing that was missing in this fight was the distance because I could not uh, place good my shots. So since this fight, I've worked a lot on that. And I wish bare knuckle is going to give me another fight for the belt because I know this belt belongs to me.
Has there been then a consideration from your part to think an explosive enough, impressive enough finish here and you're right back knocking on the door to fight Christine. We haven't had many new entrants into the division.
Exactly. There's not many girls, and I don't think there's a lot of other girls that make sense to fight her. So we're gonna see. I think maybe they're gonna make me fight Beck Rollins, like we were supposed to fight since July, the last July. That it didn't happen, and after it's gonna be the rematch for the belt. I hope. But we never know with bare knuckle. I don't know because they book me against Beck Rollins 2 times. They told me it was supposed to be in July. After they told me December, January, finally it didn't happen. And finally they offered me Crystal. So maybe they will come up with someone else. I don't know.
So it's easily to say you're very excited to be active, to after not having these fights come to fruition, you're looking at the bright side of you get to compete. And after what you said was 4 camps, you get to show all those hours in the gym.
Yes. I'm always there to train and I want to be the best. I do everything I have to do to be the best. So I just need to fight.
And before I can let you go, there's 2 more things I gotta ask you about. What is the and when did the fascination with blood start? I've seen it at the weigh-ins. I've seen clips on social media. You want to bring a bloody fight to the fans.
Yeah.
You like blood. Yeah. Where did this fascination start?
Since I was young. I don't know. I always had a fascination like at the I don't know for real. I remember at the primary school I was looking at it's a fascination. I was on the website and the things looking at that. I like to see the physical of the body, the injury. I was 8 years old and I was looking at that and I was showing to my friend, but they didn't want to check it. And I was like, look, it's open like that. So yes, and like I did the 2 years in paramedic class because I wanted to work in that. To see car crash and things like that. So it's always been something I love. And like even after I did body piercing, even on me, I still do needles or things. I like that. I like that. I don't know. It's been there since I'm really young.
So are you an adrenaline junkie or is it more of like a pain enthusiast?
Both.
Both.
Both, yes. Yes.
So gotta ask, outside of the body modifications, the boxing, the bare knuckle boxing, I believe I've seen motorcycles. Is there any other extreme sports you're into?
No, for now is that because I don't have a lot of time to put on other things. But I think if I will not fight, I will do like a motorcycle race. Yeah, because I love that. I love the speed. I love adrenaline. Yeah.
February 7th, Knucklemania VI, a rematch. Why does this rematch end with the same result?
Why is this rematch going to end the same result? Because I've worked on it a lot. I know her. I've watched her fight, and I know that I got more skills than her. So yeah, it's going to be that. But now I want to finish before the 3rd round.
Jade, Masson, Wong, it was an absolute pleasure getting to talk to you.
For me too. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to real time me, Jade Masson Wong, a couple days ago. Awesome interview. Appreciate her taking the time to talk with me. Rematch. Crystal Pittman got to favor that right hand of Jade Masson Wong. Went 5 rounds in her last outing with Christine Faria, a split decision with the pound for pound top woman in BKFC. I think that there's a good chance that history could repeat itself. But then again, that team at Schiff always has something up their sleeve, and Crystal Pittman is a ferocious competitor. February 7th, we get Knucklemania 7. February 7th is a triple header because the day starts off early with the PFL in Dubai, the first Road to Dubai from the PFL, where we have a championship doubleheader. Not to mention that evening, you get a UFC fight night from the Apex, Mario Batista and Vinicius Loke Dog Oliveira. But if we talk about the first event that day, it's the PFL in Dubai. It's the PFL lightweight title on the line in the main event, and it's the PFL welterweight title on the line, and the first PFL welterweight world champion being crowned in that co-main event. This is a classic styles make fights matchup. It all comes down to control versus chaos. On one side, you've got Usman Nurmagomedov, undefeated, calm, surgical, carrying that Nurmagomedov legacy through his DNA. Usman doesn't rush. He doesn't force things. He breaks you down systematically with long kicks, with sharp, straight punches. And when he decides it's time, that's when he starts to put you on the mat. That's when the traditional trademark Nurmagomedov grappling comes into play. It's not flashy. It's suffocating. Once he's on top, he's eating up clock unless you just want to give him the neck. The challenger, Alfie Davis, an underdog, came out of nowhere to win the last season tournament, to win that $500,000, to come out of nowhere miraculously with explosion, with unpredictability, with aggressiveness, and with creativity. So many spinning weapons. He brings danger every second he's standing in the cage because of that explosiveness, because of the aggression, and because he's willing to throw with bad intentions, thriving in small spaces of chaos, darting in and out to get his combinations and try to get back out of the way. He loves a good low kick and turning the fight really into a scrap so that he can all of a sudden spin on you out of nowhere. It's can Davis keep this one standing long enough? If Usman establishes his range early, uses the kicks, mixing the takedowns, this could turn into a one-sided show in a really long night for the Englishman. You have to disrupt Nurmagomedov's rhythm and force him into wild exchanges. You have to get him angry and wanting to throw down and make this a fight. Usman wants distance and patience. Davies wants violence, momentum, and dramatic swings. One man is trying to drown his opponent, and the other one is trying to set him on fire. It's control versus chaos, and this is a splendid matchup for the main event of the first PFL card of 2026. And in the co-main event, we get undefeateds colliding. Ramazan Kurmagomedov, the former Bellator world champion, taking on Shamil Musafayev. Two warriors, 0 losses between them, and a brand new PFL welterweight champion to be crowned at the end of this is the fight that fans should be circling, because these guys are both just dynamic, crushing killers. On one side, Kurmagomedov, 13-0, the former Bellator champion, dominated the likes of Jason Jackson. Jason Jackson looked freaking amazing in dethroning Yaroslav Amaslov, and all of a sudden got put through the ringer by Kurmagomedov. If he mixes his sharp striking and sneaky submission skills, he puts everyone to a test. On the other side, Shamil Musafayev, more experienced actually, 20-0-1, PFL standout welterweight for the 2024 season. Just guy doesn't look to win. He looks to wreck people, knock them out, take them down, be in their face, pressure. He is a finisher who has had a load of momentum since the tournament, providing he is comfortable going toe-to-toe or putting you on the ground. The fight is a battle of momentum versus legacy. The calm composure and championship pedigree of Kurmagomedov, who's tactical and knows how to shut down a contender. Musafayev is relentless, explosive, the kind of fighter who makes you respect every second you stand in front of him because he is that wild and explosive. Someone's perfect record ends here, and the PFL crowns a very worthy welterweight champion. It's undefeated versus unstoppable, and that's just 2 of the fights on what is going to be a stat card. Jose Pinedo, the last year featherweight winner, back on the card. Couple familiar names to Bellator. The PFL kicks off their season on February 7th, the same night as Knucklemania. Earlier this week, I got to talk to Jade, Masson, Wong. Huge shout out to her again. You saw that interview. After I talked to her I got to talk to the one and only, and now the fight has changed. We talked to Lorenzo Hunt when he thought he was going to be fighting Yoel Romero. Don't forget, the news just broke today. Flu symptoms, Romero's out. David Wendell, pound for pound #1, BKFC middleweight champion, jumping in to take on the light heavyweight champion, Lorenzo Hunt. 199-pound catch weight. We're 11 days away. Let's hear from Lorenzo Hunt. My pleasure once again. It's been way too long. Lorenzo Hunt, the champ, is here. How you doing ahead of Knucklemania, sir?
Man, I'm moving good. I'm looking good. I'm fly as ever. Knuckle push-ups every night. Hey, man, this shit's about to get crazy.
That's exactly what I expected out of you. Knucklemania, the big moment, a huge fight. This is what I feel like wakes up the juggernaut in the morning.
Nah. What wakes up the juggernaut is a little more curvy and a little more smooth and a little more wet. It's not Knucklemania, but it's a close race. It's a tight second.
I thought that first one is what gets little Lorenzo up in the morning.
Ain't nothing little about him.
You see an opportunity like Yoel Romero. What got you excited about this matchup? You come back, you reclaim one of your 2 belts, and now you go after someone who has made such a name for themselves across combat sports.
You know, I don't really get excited about fighting. You know, it's actually a part of my personality. I probably get more exciting about training, you know. And I don't know if you guys notice, if you see me fight, it's like the fight's going on, but I'm super calm, I'm super reserved, I'm super chill. Like it's not an exciting thing for me. You know, fighting and violence and things like that have a very dark place in me, like from way back in the day. And honestly, I just learned how to control the fire, so to speak. And I know that's a little bit overkill, but I don't get excited. I don't get excited before the fight, and I don't get excited after. Like, you won't see me running around, pounding on my chest and throwing money in the air at the clubs and I don't really let it move me high or low. It doesn't really move the meter. Not as much as, you know, my son and my daughter, or when she races, or my kids when they come over. Like, it's awesome. But this fight in particular with Yoel Romero is a milestone for me and for BKFC, because as long as we've been knocking people around, there's always this question: do they compete? Do they compare with the UFC guys? I think it's better. I think we're more vicious. I think we're more violent. I think it's more exciting. I think it's awesome. And of course I think so. I am the king and this is my kingdom. So yes, I think that. We just got to get guys like Yoel Romero, guys like Adesanya, guys like we got to get these guys to sign up and come over here and get like Luke Rockhold. Like, how many of them we gonna knock off? You know what I'm saying? Paige Van Zandt. Like, we've seen them come and we've seen them go. So we just got to keep them coming.
The all-time winningest fighter in BKFC. If and when Dave puts together the BKFC Hall of Fame, we know you're the headline of the first class. You say this is a milestone fight for you. How much more can you add to your legacy?
So it depends. The best part about bare knuckle is that it doesn't require for me to completely tear myself down. You know, you guys you're not gonna get a pinky toe hold and rip my ankle out. I'm not gonna pick you and turn my leg into rubber as it wraps around your leg 5 times. Nah, like, you know, I'm not gonna go out like most of the greats did. You know, even Connor broke his leg like that. Anderson Silva broke his leg like that. Oh my God, it's so many, and so on and so forth. As you get older, this wear and tear on the body just tears down the essential elements, the nutrients in the body, and then next thing you know, shit, you're popping stuff loose. With bare knuckle, you can do this till you're 90. Good head movement, the right punch at the right time, and guy goes down, hey, and you're still the champ.
Till you're 90, I figure you have other aspirations and much other goals to achieve, that you won't be doing this when you're 90, but are you already starting to think how many more fights, how many more big names you want to add, how many more UFC vets?
So I ran up Mount La Pica today. It was about 4 miles up, 4 miles down. Total high, just beautiful mountain scenery, everything. Jump in the ocean, swim 2 miles across, swim 2 miles back. Totally serene, just amazing, just feeling. Go to the gym and spar with the kids, spar with everybody there, land some good shots, have a meal, go to sleep. I feel better than I've ever felt. I'm not, the clock is going backward for me. I'm not sitting around driving the damn school bus and drinking every night, drinking Courvoisier and Hennessy and looking at the clock, looking like I'm 60, but I'm only 28. That ain't me. I'm not eating nachos and throwing back wings and watching my biological clock go away. I can do this as long as they're willing to pay me.
Having had the time away after the endeavor up at heavyweight, do you feel like that also did something to reset you? 2 divisions, the chair you were on, the legacy you were carving out, did that time away reset you, refresh you at all?
Yeah, it reset me and it refreshed me and it reminded me to never get too arrogant, to never get too high on oneself, you know, especially as a black man in America. Everything can be taken from you, you know, in a moment's notice, like a snap of a finger, you know. So like, you know, it was very, very sobering, you know, not only just breaking my arm, but to be accused of cheating and to having to get expensive lawyers and fight for my life and get back in the game and to be absolved and to see the California Boxing Commission hugging me after the Josh Dyer knockout and everybody's all accepting and apologetic. It's a really amazing feeling to be back exactly on my path, doing exactly what I was doing. I will not be denied. I am the juggernaut.
When you say exactly, from there I have to take it to, you exactly knocked out Josh Dyer in a same fashion the first time I got to be live to see you fight against Mike Richman. Is there just a flair for the dramatic within Lorenzo Hunt to pull off these kind of efforts? And can we have you do it once without having slipped or gotten stunned in there?
Well, yeah, I did it a bunch of times. I mean, you got to figure, like I said, I got more fights than anybody. You know, I've done it a bunch of times and it was too neat. It was too clean. It was too easy, according to the fans and the people who thought, you know, even with the Quentin Henry thing. And like, you know, I've been smashing guys loose. And lo and behold, Mike Richman pokes me in the eye and beats me up a little. And then I get 1 million followers and all the fans love me because I came back. Mike Richman was a walk in the park. If he hadn't poked me in the eye and knocked me down, I would have been just beating him into bubble gum. Just beating him into bubble gum. And everybody would have been like, that's not fair. He's too little. But he poked me in the eye and he knocked me down. And so everybody thought like, oh my God, it was the best fight ever. It was a first round knockout. That's what it was. Let's get back to reality. Josh Dyer jets across. He tries to assert himself. He throws an overhand. He throws this. He throws that. He pops me on the temple. He sits me down for a second. I clap for him. What is it with you young guys about instant gratification and thinking that just because you hit me once or twice, you win? I can go the entire round and never throw a punch. Would you think you were winning? The punch that I hit Josh Dyer with, I brought 30 of those. I could have kept throwing them. He could only take one. So like, I love it, the nostalgia of it all for you guys, as the fans, that you get to see something amazing. You get to see Lorenzo trip and stumble and make it look good. But it's just exciting for you. I knew what was going to happen. I told everybody what was going to happen.
And what it also did was go viral. It put these highlight real moments onto your resume. I think that they go down in infamy as some of the biggest moments of your career and help build the viralness of BKFC.
I think it does too. And it's kind of opening up some new potential strategies for me too. You know, these guys get super confident and relaxed when they land a punch or two. You know, maybe I'll just flop a few times like LeBron and then knock your ass out. Like, whatever. If you goofy enough to fall for it, you know what I mean? Like, I will say this. I will take away this, and I'll give this to the kids, to any of the kids that are interested in BKFC or just as a mantra for life. You were never winning. That's in your head. Either you won or you didn't. Only losers say, I was winning. Only the guy who lost says that. The winner doesn't say that. The winner says, I won. Don't ever think you're winning. Either you won or you didn't.
You've brought up the kids, the kids in the game. The man that's going to be across from you February 7th in Philadelphia at Knucklemania VII is also a man, a veteran, someone that's been around. How much of a different mental approach does battling Yoel Romero become when he's someone that also relies on a lot of feints, a lot of fakes, a lot of lulling his opponents into a sense of security before exploding? This is someone that's, I'd say, a little bit different of a chess player than the guys you've been going against.
You don't have to lull me in at all. I'll be right there in the center of the ring throwing toe-to-toe with Yoel Romero until somebody quits. And that's what he's not prepared for. I've watched him fight. I've watched his fights. He's timid for a big guy with all those muscles. He's a timid ass dude. And that's why he's jumping around and running around and tries to scoop in and get his punch and then runs over here and then does some old capoeira looking ass goofy shit. I'm going to step to him man to man and start throwing and watch him curve, watch him run. We all know what happened when the dogs fight and one turns his butt. He's gonna run. I'm gonna press him and press him and press him until he says, you know what? I'm 49. I don't gotta do this shit. And then he's gonna leave. And then everybody's gonna say, oh, you only did that to him because he was older. I wouldn't give a fuck if he was 80. He shouldn't have came if he didn't want to fight.
Yoel Romero, he's almost had that intimidation factor, but have you ever seen him in a fight? Like, in your assessment, have you seen him in a fight, or are you bringing something to him on a physical level different than what he's felt before?
The fights that I've seen him fight that were good fights, he usually loses or relies on grappling. And he can't do that here. I watched the fight with him. He fought the 185 champion Bellator, and the guy was lighting his ass up for 5 rounds straight. And I watched a couple of other fights, and I don't put a lot of stock into watching fight tape, but of course I watched Yoel Romero. And the guys that fight him back, the guys who are not intimidated, the guys who came to fight, they usually win, or he relies on wrestling. The guys who are intimidated, the guys who are scared of him and the hype behind him, they lose. And you can see it from weigh-ins to all the way through. When he weighs in with people, when he comes and he's so awesome, and the UFC did such a great job of promoting him and making people think that he was some sort of super soldier until he started getting his ass whooped. And then and then Dana White threw him away. So, I'm just here taking out the trash. That's why I was sweeping. That's why I was sweeping at the press conference, bro. I'm just taking out the trash. Come on, man. Just give me the fucking broom. He can dump them all over here. Dana White can dump all the guys he used up. Dump them over here. I'll sweep them up.
The game truly wasn't the same without Lorenzo Hunt around. It's good to see you back. It's good to see that smile.
Hey, we got to make it a meme, bro. Listen, I got a plan. Send this to everybody. I want everybody to do this. When y'all see them UFC fighters slipping and they haven't been doing well, they haven't been keeping up with the numbers and the fans aren't feeling them, tell them, hey, man, you better do something. You better step it up or your ass to be down there fighting Lorenzo and BKFC. You better get it together or he's going to send your ass to fight Lorenzo. Y'all start pulling them UFC fighters card on
And like that, we are back. And I lost Lorenzo Hunt in there. So, yeah, interview just kind of ended. Lorenzo Hunt, the game was not the same without the juggernaut. And I'm glad to see he is still going to be in action. Glad to see that he's still going to be in action at BKFC Knucklemania VI. We'll get into that preview real quick. Remind you guys, huge weekend of fights this weekend. Friday night, Fury FC 114, UFC Fight Pass, Arlington, Texas. Shout out to all the Borg MMA and fitness guys. Next night, DBX5 Houston, first women's title fight in DBX history. DBX Dirty Boxing, 4-ounce glove boxing where you're allowed to do dynamic jumping attacks and utilize your elbows in the clinch. Is seriously exciting stuff. January 31st, huge day of action. Royal Rumble. Yeah, the Royal Rumble, mentioning that, kicks off the day. You have BKB 50, Evolution in Miami, and you have UFC 325, Paramount Network, that one from Australia. Huge, absolutely huge weekend of fights. Looks like everything's going to be outstanding. The following weekend, we get to February 7th with the UFC Fight Night, the PFL in Dubai, and our friends at Knucklemania with this incredible card. Ben Rothwell defends the heavyweight title against Andrei Arlovsky. Arlovsky has looked sharp in boxing, sharp in dirty boxing, even looked sharp in his BKFC debut. Ben Rothwell has looked like an absolute destroyer, putting all the 280 pounds that he has behind punches. It's been something to see the devastation. I was there live when he beat up Josh Copeland, and then he devastated Mick Terrell to win the title. There's a psychological advantage. Arlovsky's up 2-0. This has been Rothwell's game. I tend to want to go with the champion, to think his physicality, his size, and the fact that he is honed in on this sport will make a difference in pressing forward and probably beating up Andre in the clinch. You also have to wonder, so many wars that he's been through, what really is the stability of the Andre Arlovsky chin. I mentioned it. Our last minute mega super fight, the Juggernaut and the Redneck. This isn't just another scrap. This is the two most dangerous fighters in the planet of bare knuckle fighting, meeting in the ring at 199 pounds. On one side, the multi-division champion, a menace, 185-pound and a 205-pound champion, and Lorenzo Hunt. Never lost either belt, vacated them to go up to heavyweight. He has come back, grabbed that 185 belt, defended the belts. He has shown that he can take a punch, and even if he's hurt, if he stumbles, he will get back up, and he has tactical grittiness to land a bomb on his own. Dave Mundell, the current BKFC middleweight champion, is a pound-for-pound elite of combat sports. His rise has been built on pressure, precision, and confidence that he can bang with anyone at any size. He's defended his title multiple times. We got to see that live here in Albuquerque, an incredible performance. Meaner, bigger men have tried to stop him. We'll see what happens with Lorenzo Hunt. It's a gem that we're getting this fight. We wanted to see Perry Mundell for so long. Mundell Hunt is the next best option. Hunt comes to brawl, to punch first, and to ask questions later. Mundell brings pressure and aggression, championship experience, and having been consistent in the division. One man is trying to remind the world why he is the most feared finisher in the sport. The other is trying to prove that he's not just another man, but a warrior who belongs fighting the best. This is incredible. It's power versus poise, danger versus determination. And the only thing that we will see is one man walking away, pound for pound, bare knuckle king. This is so exciting. We get the rematch Huge implications in the lightweight division. Ben Bonner, Tony Soto too. Last time it was short notice. Bonner jumped in. Soto says he stayed on the card but was injured. Bonner's pressure, his power, his willingness to trade put him on top. But Soto never folded, proving how tough and talented he is. Soto has relocated his camp from North Carolina back up to New York. Redemption is on the line for Soto, who wants that win streak back. He's never got to fight for the undisputed title, and he feels he has earned it. He feels he deserves it. He's put his heart on the line, and he says this time he will be the harder to hit Tony Soto that we are used to. Ben Bonner, he boasts confidence no matter what. He doesn't feel like he lost to Franco Tenaglia. I kind of thought he had the more effective boxing, and Will Tenaglia was the aggressor. I thought Bonner did enough to get the victory. He has a lot to prove to put himself in line to fight the winner of Franco Tenaglia and Austin Trout. Adjustments will matter. Cutting off the ring. Who can control the range and the tempo? Championship stakes are on the line. Someone's redemption starts here and gets closer to the BKFC lightweight title. Jade Masson Wong, Crystal Pittman. It's a rematch, kind of like the Masson Wong right hand. Lex Ludlow, we had him on a couple weeks ago. This is down at cruiserweight. He's been calling out Chris Camozzi, Fedor Emelianenko. Standing in front of him is Zach Kalmas. Zach is an experienced pugilist, but he's a little light on volume. He's a little light on activity. I tend to go with Lex Ludlow because he's just not going to let off the gas. He's not going to let Zach Kalmas have it easy. Johnny Garbarino is looking for revenge for Pat Sullivan when he takes on Kane Tomlinson Jr. Tomlinson beat Sullivan by knockout last year. Garbarino, undefeated, one of the top prospects in the sport. He looks to get revenge for his buddy. Pat Sullivan mentioned him. The Wild Irishman is on the card, and he's going to be taking on the equally as crazy UFC MMA vet Charles Crazy Horse Bennett. Knucklemania VI. February 7th, we will be Cage Minds live. Myself, Robbie Ray, and Saint Nick Gonzalez, promoter, BKFC cornerman, veteran from MMA. He's done the BKFC thing. He's done the boxing thing. He's done it all. He's probably going to bring a friend. We'll be in studio for that one. Everyone that threw up a heart, threw up a thumb, thank you guys. Appreciate you. Like, share, and subscribe. It helps us grow. It means so much. Saturday, Cage Minds Fight Hour, ESPN Radio, Albuquerque, 1017 The Team. For a teaser there, we're going to be talking about why Justin Gaethje is the most exciting man in MMA. How big the retirement of AJ Styles really means, and it's possible that it's coming at the Royal Rumble. And the last stand, possibly, of the great Alexander Volkanovski. Check that one out Saturday. Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You can find both shows. MMA After Hours is up for this week. Pro Wrestling After Hours will be up next week. No My Fight show next week. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Got a whole bunch planned. Thank you all for watching, and everyone have a great night. Enjoy the fights.